Friday, the 16th of February. Everyone, welcome to the program. This is your Business Morning, starting right now from Channels Television, Nigeria's news leader. And this is where Channels Television has its home. Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial epicenter. It's nice to be back. Left off on Monday. And now to wrap up a very interesting business and markets week, let's take a look at some of the stories making the biggest headline as far as Nigeria's financial space is concerned. The country's Eurobond, as you may have seen in the news, is now been floated for the 2018. This is $2.5 billion Eurobonds of the Buhari's administration for the year. The offerings get global investors' book order of over 11.5 billion US dollars. In layman's language, Nigeria requested for $2.5 billion. Global investors decided, looks at Nigeria and says, well, we can actually give you more than that. So the total amount that was offered by investors was $11.5 billion. But of course, Nigeria could only take what it asked for. So that shows a lot of confidence in investors looking forward into the future of the economy when you see your book building far in excess of your offering. That's what you call the book order there actually means when investors place their orders for this bond. So the $2.5 billion bond was evenly split at $1.5 billion each, with a 12-year for 1.25, and the second is a 20-year tenor. That was the late information we got overnight from the Debt Management Office trying to explain what has been done. The 12-year Eurobond fetches 7.143% as what they call a yield, while the second $1.25 billion was priced at a yield of 7.696%. The debt office says the debt offerings are repayable to investors with a bullet repayment of principal on maturity. That's how the global marketplace works, if you know the debt market. What's Nigeria spending $2.5 billion for in 2018 is to refinance the domestic debt that the Buhari's administration, through the Ministry of Finance, the Debt Office, and the Central Bank says they want Nigeria's cost of borrowing, or government's cost of borrowing, to reduce significantly in terms of the Treasury portfolio of local bills, then allow private sectors, companies, whatever, to come into the market locally and borrow, because the government's been crowding out the private sector at the local debt marketplace for decades. So Nigeria's global debt offerings now totaled $8.8 billion US dollars. So we got a question there for you, and that's what we'll talk about that in the next couple of minutes. The question is, where does the Buhari's administration go next in international borrowings to finance budget 2018 still on the drawing board? That's one key question, and we're all asking, now that the administration is done with Eurobond for 2018, very early in the year, February to be precise, what happens to budget 2018 and the borrowing plans that's contained in there? Where would we be getting this money? We'll have those conversations in the days ahead. Meantime, let's move on to one story that you may be missing in the news. The National Employers Consultative Association, by the acronym NECA, took a full-page advertorial asking President Buhari to wade in and, quote, withhold assent to the proposed Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Bill of 2016. Now, hold on a second. What we have here was that there's a new bill that the National Assembly, which is called the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Bill. This bill, if you remember when the public hearing was held a few months ago, it was everyone there, the Consumer Protection Council, the CPC, and other stakeholders were there to, and those all agreed that there's a need to set up something much bigger that will empower and benefit Nigerians in terms of consumer protection from products produced locally and those that are imported. Now, the NECA says something has happened. And what is their complaint about this bill was that they want the bill sent back to the National Assembly for what they called, quote, proper procedural compliance End of quote. The NECA is alleging that some retrogressive forces, quote unquote, have inserted a 0.5% tax on Nigerian companies to fund the establishment of a new commission or agency after a public hearing was concluded. Simply put, if you understand that, the Employers Consultative Association says some people, after the inquiry, public hearing was held and concluded, some individuals or some folks went behind the closed doors and inserted a 0.5% tax on all companies in Nigeria to fund the establishment of a new commission, an entirely new government agency, to superintend the new bill, which will have everything in it, including the competition and consumer protection. So NECA is now saying that the private sector will not pay an unnecessary additional levy or tax, and therefore ask the government to fund, if you want a new agency, from this existing fiscal framework. Coming up, still in the next days and weeks, as we look at the mid of February and stepping into March, the Nigerian government, the federal government yesterday told the NNPC, that's the State Oil Corporation, to clear the stubborn petrol queues in Abuja and Federal Capital Territory. Says it's becoming an eyesore, and that should be done no later than Sunday, the 18th. That's this weekend. Nigeria is hosting the International Petroleum Summit in Abuja, and now the government is feeling embarrassed. Feel that it will be embarrassing, according to media reports, to have the city with petrol queues hanging all over the place, and the government says the NNPC should clear the petrol queues at those petrol stations across Abuja and the FCT before Sunday, before our international delegates for this. How can you be a petroleum producing country, the largest in Africa, number 6 in the world, and then you are holding an international petroleum summit, and there's a petrol scarcity and queues on the streets of your capital, political capital city? That's number one, embarrassment.